In a quiet corner of a bustling town, there stands a place where memories are made, friendships are forged, and the aroma of freshly baked bread always lingers in the air, a place they call Miller's Market. For generations, it has been the heart of the community, a beacon of familiarity in an ever-changing world. But now a looming shadow threatens its very existence, a faceless corporation with its eye on the bottom line, ready to tear down the familiar and replace it with the cold and impersonal. The fight is about to begin, and the residents of this little town are about to discover the true meaning of community and what it really takes to protect the things they love. The odds are stacked against them, but this is a story about resilience, about courage, and about the enduring power of the human spirit when people come together to save something precious. Will Miller's Market survive the takeover, or will it become just another memory in the face of corporate greed? Stay tuned to find out. Before we dive in, let us know where you're watching from today, and if this story of community and heartfelt struggle resonates with you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Miller's Market wasn't just a grocery store, it was a living, breathing piece of the town itself. For over 70 years, 3 generations of the Miller family had kept its doors open, its shelves stocked with locally sourced produce, and its aisles echoing with the familiar voices of its loyal customers. It wasn't fancy, not by any stretch of the imagination. The linoleum floors were worn smooth, the lighting was a bit dim, and the shelves often groaned under the weight of more than they were designed to carry. But there was a warmth to the place, a genuine sense of belonging that no supermarket chain could ever replicate. There was old Mrs. Henderson, always with her hand-knitted shopping bag, who made it a point to chat with every cashier about her grandchildren. There was young David, the neighborhood kid, who always sneaked a candy bar at the checkout and winked at old man Miller. And then there was Frank, a regular in the deli section, who knew all the Miller family's secrets, as well as the best way to slice a roast beef sandwich. But lately, the familiar rhythm of life at Miller's Market had begun to falter. The whispers started first, rumors carried on the wind, and then the official letter arrived, a cold, corporate document from a company called Global Grocers, announcing their intention to acquire Miller's Market. Global Grocers, a supermarket behemoth with a reputation for efficiency and an utter disregard for local traditions, had set their sights on this small, independent business. The letter was polite, but its implications were clear. Global Grocers didn't want the community, they wanted the land, the property, the space. They had plans to build one of their huge box stores. Old Man Miller, as everyone affectionately called him, Arthur Miller, a man with a kind smile and hands roughened by decades of work, sat alone in his office, his heart heavy. He'd seen the writing on the wall. The competition from the big chains, the changing shopping habits, the rising costs, it had all taken a toll. He'd been thinking about retirement, hoping his son, Tom, who had his own dreams and aspirations, might take the leap to continue the family business. But now he was having second thoughts. Was it time to let go of the family legacy? Tom Miller, a man in his late 40s, with the same gentle eyes as his father, but a more restless spirit, paced nervously in the small office. He was a talented artist, a potter with dreams of creating his own studio, living in the country, and just making art. The responsibilities of running the store felt like a heavy burden, a chain binding him to a life that wasn't his. He had secretly hoped for a way out, a way to pursue his own calling. But the prospect of selling to Global Grocers, of seeing the familiar store reduced to another soulless chain, stirred a deep sense of unease within him. "We can't let this happen, Dad," Tom said, his voice filled with a quiet determination his father hadn't heard in a long time. "This place is more than just a store. It's a part of us." Arthur looked up at his son, seeing not just the reluctant inheritor of a family business, but a man who finally understood the true value of their legacy. A small spark flickered in his heart. The news of the potential takeover spread like wildfire through the town. At first, there was a sense of disbelief and resignation, another small business swallowed by the corporate machine. But then, a few voices began to stir, and soon, the local residents started to gather at the store, concerned, determined, and ready to fight. Old Mrs. Henderson, her voice surprisingly strong for a woman of her age, rallied the troops. "We've been shopping here for decades," she declared to the crowd of neighbors gathered in front of the store. "This is our place, our community. We can't let some corporate giant just waltz in and take it from us." David, the young boy, made a sign that read, "Save Miller's Market," and stuck it on the store window. Frank, the deli guy, brought out a plate of his finest sandwiches, handing them out to the protesters, declaring, "If they want our store, they'll have to go through us." The energy was infectious, the small crowd soon growing larger. Among the crowd was Lena Johnson, a young woman in her early 30s who had recently moved back to her hometown after years away working in the city. She was an experienced community organizer, trained in the art of grassroots action. She saw the passion in her neighbors, and she knew they needed a leader, a strategist, someone to channel all this energy in the right direction. "All right, everyone," Lena shouted, her voice cutting through the murmur of the crowd. "We need a plan, a real plan if we want to save this place. This is not just about a store, it's about protecting what we all value. It's about fighting for our community." The crowd turned to look at her, their faces filled with hope and a growing sense of purpose. Lena, who had initially planned to settle back into a quiet life in her hometown, was now drawn into the fight. Lena started by organizing a meeting, turning the store's small parking lot into a makeshift town hall. They discussed tactics, strategies, and concerns. Mrs. Henderson shared her fears about losing her regular chat with the cashier. Young David explained how Miller's was the only place where he felt like he really belonged. Frank spoke about the friendships he forged over countless sandwiches at the deli counter, and how important it was to have a safe and comforting place like Miller's Market. The heart of the community became its strength. Lena, using her city experience, started a social media campaign, using the hashtag #SaveMillersMarket to spread the word. She encouraged everyone to share their memories of the store, the people they had met there, and why Miller's was more than just a grocery store. The posts flooded in from old black and white photos to heartfelt stories, showing just how important Miller's was to the community. The hashtag gained traction, attracting attention from local media outlets, and eventually even a national news network. Meanwhile, Tom Miller, inspired by the community's passion, had started using his artistic talents to help the cause. He designed beautiful posters, flyers, and banners, turning the fight against global grocers into a vibrant, colorful protest. His creations were a blend of love for the store and a new understanding of his community. The quiet artist was discovering a power he never knew he possessed. Global grocers, accustomed to easy takeovers and quick profits, began to feel the pressure. They sent a representative to meet with Arthur Miller, hoping to resolve the issue with a generous offer. "Mr. Miller," the representative said, a perfectly groomed man in an expensive suit, "we appreciate your contribution to this community, but let's be realistic. Your store is outdated, inefficient. We can offer you a more than fair price to move on, to retire comfortably." Arthur Miller, normally a man of few words, looked him directly in the eyes. "This store is not for sale," he said, his voice ringing with a newfound strength. "It's not just a business, it's our legacy, our community's heart. We're not going anywhere." The representative, taken aback by Arthur's unexpected defiance, left defeated. But global grocers did not back down that easily. They started a smear campaign on social media, portraying Miller's as a failing, outdated business that had no place in the modern world. The online attacks stung, and some residents started to lose hope. But Lena, refusing to be intimidated, quickly organized a counter-campaign, highlighting Miller's unique community spirit and the devastating impact that global grocers would have. She rallied the residents and they stood stronger than before. Meanwhile, Tom, while creating new protest art, stumbled upon something old in the store's attic. It was a collection of old photographs, journals, and letters that told the story of the store's origins, revealing that Arthur's grandfather, the founder of Miller's Market, had included a clause in the original land deed that would make it extremely difficult for any corporate chain to take over. The legal loophole wasn't just a chance, it was a lifeline. Lena quickly enlisted the help of a lawyer who had come across the social media campaign. They meticulously went over the old documents, verifying the clause and realizing that global grocers had completely overlooked this old, outdated piece of paper. The small town, through a combination of modern activism and old-fashioned ingenuity, had discovered a hidden advantage. Armed with the legal loophole and the overwhelming support of the community, the small group, now fully committed to fighting for their store, they confronted global grocers with the news. The corporate giant, caught off guard by this unexpected twist, had no choice but to withdraw its offer. The residents of the small town had won. Miller's Market was saved, not by money or power, but by the enduring spirit of a community that was ready to fight for the things that mattered most. Arthur Miller, beaming with pride, gathered his family, friends, and his community around him on the front porch of his store. Tom Miller put down his art brush and helped his father get up. They stood tall, side by side. They all knew now that they could overcome any challenge as long as they had each other. The store continued to thrive, not as an outdated relic of the past, but as a vibrant hub for a community that valued connection and tradition. The old linoleum floors, the slightly dim lighting, the overflowing shelves, all were reminders of what they had fought to save. They even introduced some changes, adding some of Tom's pottery to the shelves, and a small corner where Lena now held local community meetings. And young David, he started his own local activism campaign, handing out flyers and making sure everyone knew the power of their voice. The fight to save Miller's Market taught the residents of that small town some valuable lessons. It showed them the power of community resilience, the value of tradition, and the importance of standing up for what you believe in, no matter how big the odds are stacked against you. It also taught them that sometimes the most valuable things in life aren't the ones you buy, but the ones you protect. And so, Miller's Market continues to stand strong, a testament to the enduring power of community and the importance of protecting the places that matter most. What did you think of this tale of community and perseverance? Did it inspire you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more stories that will fill your heart and inspire your spirit.